And I think we're rolling. Hey, what's up, YouTube people? We are streaming on both Facebook over here and then YouTube over here. I have the chat pulled up so I can watch what's going on. I did have a few questions.
People,
from.
we are streaming on both Facebook over here.
I'm watching my own video, so the audio kicks up every now and then. I have some questions that people sent in previously or asked earlier in the week. So if you're hopping on Facebook right now, I know Nick's over there. Thanks. If you have any questions, Nick, go ahead and enter them in, type them in, and I'll take a look later. And then on YouTube, I see a couple of people are hopping on, which is cool. So let me know where you're from in the chat. And if you have any questions on YouTube, just let me know. You can type it in and I will answer them. I do have a hard stop today. I have another, I have like a coaching call later with a student. So I need to leave at 11. I need to leave at the top of the hour so I can talk to him. And David's on. What's going on? Good to see you. Welcome. And okay, so as I'm waiting for other questions to pop in, I'll go ahead and I guess I'll burn a little time to let some more people hop on. And John's in from on the YouTube side from Southern California. Awesome. Thanks, John. Like my mouse keeps losing the connection today. Like I just put in new batteries and stuff. I don't know what's up. So, okay. That is an ongoing struggle. Hey, Callie, what's up on YouTube? Thanks for joining. So a couple things going on today. One is sort of just interesting. And by the way, is the audio good on YouTube? Everybody can hear me pretty well. I can move the microphone a little bit closer here. Okay. Right there, a little bit closer. So one cool thing, earlier this week I mentioned that I found basically an internet marketer who was teaching guitar basically. And I learned that accidentally that he was actually a local guy. So he lives in this relatively small city that I'm in. I mean, it's the kind of place where, you know, anywhere in the city limits takes about 10 minutes to get to. And if there's traffic, if it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon and it's rush hour, it takes like 15 minutes. So it's basically, it's a fairly small town. The point is he launched his, you know, course, which is sort of a membership course. It's like a monthly fee situation, or I guess he had a one-time like lifetime payment, but anyway, I've mentioned a couple times, I do like playing guitar. I have played for probably like 18 or 19 years, but it's one of those deals where I sort of like learned a lot early on and then plateaued maybe after like 3 to 5 years. And then I haven't done anything to actually improve. And if there's one thing that I've learned about, I guess, making great strides or improving is to have, you know, lessons or finding a mentor or, you know, doing something structured in a structured manner. And, you know, about a year and a half ago, I bought a course on courses from Social Triggers, Derek Halpern, and it really like changed the way I looked at courses. I mean, it was expensive, but I also took like massive action because I invested like that. So anyway, as I was going through this guy's funnel for guitar lessons, I was like, oh, this is good. Like he's super, he's really good on camera. I'm not sure what his background is, but he doesn't look like he's using a teleprompter at all. He's looking directly at the camera. He speaks awesome. He knows guitars. And yeah, he has an awesome YouTube channel and really just, I mean, you feel like he's your friend and stuff. So anyway, I went through the funnel and I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy. So he has, you know, a launch sequence you could only buy for, you know, this week or something like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. It's like $30 a month. It's actually fairly expensive for like an online music course, I think, but certainly cheaper than, you know, in-person lessons. The other selfish part, so I'm going on a big day, you know, just I'm digressing here quite a bit, a little tangent, but the other thing that I know is if I want to connect with him, it's like much easier for me to send an email and for him to read it if I'm a customer. And like I may even see him in town. Like the town is small enough, and if I go just around to coffee shops and stuff, it wouldn't be weird for me to see another like online internet entrepreneur out in town. Now the thing is, I really want to connect with him because he's doing really well from what I can see on courses, and there's not many people that like understand the funnel design through real experience. There's a lot of people that understand conceptually, you set up a funnel, you have an email list, you build a relationship, so on and so forth, but there's not that many people in town that like kind of understand what I do at all. And this guy has a YouTube channel and he's an Amazon affiliate and he's doing a course. So he and I may have a lot in common as far as like what we're working on. So I actually want to connect with him. So maybe I'll learn guitar and maybe I'll make a nice connection with someone in town who knows what the hell I'm talking about. So, okay, cool. I see a few people typed in some questions, so this is awesome. I'm going to get into it. If you're just joining, really appreciate you hopping on. You can type in your questions. I'll get to them today for sure. And I do have a hard stop. I have a coaching call at the top of the hour, so I have 20 minutes, so I have to be quick. I can't ramble on too much. So thanks for listening to the story. We'll get into it. So Nick, I saw your question first. It says, I've been doing mostly informational posts and weave in product recommendations. My call to action is you can buy the product here. Is that a strong enough CTA, call to action? And what's my opinion on mixed? So the one downside, Nick, if you type in a long message, it cuts it off and I can't actually read it on my phone, which I'm streaming from. So I'll answer what I can see. And if you want to type the second half of your question, starting at what's your opinion on mixed, blah, blah, blah. So first of all, Nick's call to action, you could buy the product here. That's fine. That's cool. I would say vary the calls to action on your pages, right? So you could have one that's, read product reviews on Amazon by real users as maybe one of your calls to action. That's pretty conservative. People want to read reviews and it's not saying, hey, you could buy it here. So it's totally up to you as far as like how aggressive you want to be. The thing you need to do is make sure you don't, make outrageous claims and say, hey, save 75% here, buy it right now on Amazon. I mean, not only is that aggressive and not very pleasant, it's just, kind of, I think that violates like the Amazon Associates terms of service. So you have to be careful with any specific claims on pricing or anything like that. So all that said, I would just, your call to action is fine. And the thing is, if you're providing good information and the person's actually interested, you're using a good buyer's keyword, then you shouldn't have an issue. They're going to be interested. And if you give them a way to get to Amazon, they'll be happy with it. So the exact call to action is probably not that important. Yours is fine. And then the second half of the question, Nick asked, what's your opinion on mixed posts versus purely info post and purely product post? I think they're all fine. And I personally do, an informational post will have affiliate links in it, if that's what you're asking. So I don't think there's any reason not to have affiliate links on an informational post. Okay, good questions. Moving on, these are a couple questions that were asked earlier in the week, and I can, answer them a little bit more thoroughly now. So first off, do I check readers' websites? Do I audit them? This person wanted to get my opinion on something. So the answer is yes. I do audit people's sites. The cost is to, buy coaching with me, right? So I don't just audit people's sites for free. I get nothing out of it if I go audit someone else's site. So if you are a site that has traffic, and if you're a site that's making revenue and you want me to audit your site and publish it on YouTube, then I potentially can do it. I mean, I would do it for free if you provide me with like the critical information on the site, traffic, number of pages, which I could sort of audit it myself, but just a general overview of the site. I can audit people's sites if they let me publish the information, but I would say that's a bad move because you're going to get copycats. There's a lot of people that watch these videos, and I mean, generally, if there's a public case study situation, there's always some kind of issue that comes up. So it's only a matter of time before someone tries to do like negative SEO on your site or something like that. So anyway, I check out people's sites, but you have to get coaching with me or be a student or some sort of, we have to have a professional relationship, where professional means you pay me money somehow. So just to cut through all of it and not to mince any words, like I won't do it for free. So next question. My domain authority is not increasing fast. I don't know what to do. Do Web 2.0's past link strength to my site? So first off, number one, there's no real value in tracking your domain authority, right? Like that is an estimation by Moz, and it gives you an idea about how well you're doing your link building, but it's not a very good metric to track. You should be tracking like traffic, and you should be tracking revenue. And if you're looking to pass like link strength through Web 2.0s, and if your sole purpose is to increase your domain authority, that can probably work. Will it help you get more traffic, improve in rankings, and help you make money? Probably not. But if you just want to improve your domain authority, which, I mean, I'm assuming that you want to make money and you just don't want to increase some arbitrary metric. So that's kind of why I said the first part. But if you only want to increase your domain authority, sure, you could probably go buy a couple Hoth packages, probably a platinum package, and you could increase your domain authority, but it'll be an artificial metric and it won't actually help you. So just want to make sure you're watching the right metrics, not some vanity metrics like domain authority, which is kind of garbage. Okay, next question. Do I have a paid service to help us just to see if our site is on good track, like a 3-hour session? So basically it's the coaching. If you go to nichesiteproject.com/hire-me, or you go to my contact page, then you should be able to send me a message, let me know what you're looking for, and yeah, I could definitely do that. My rates are $247 an hour, and I'll do homework ahead of time. I'll do follow-up afterwards. So it's not just a 1 hour, but it's pretty optimized as far as the value you get out of it. You get an action plan, and most people get really good results if they follow the action plan. Okay, next is images for Amazon Associates. So basically this question was in the Facebook group, and generally there are people yelling outside in the street. So I think someone's yelling at their kid. Sorry, a little distracting, but I'm back now, focused up. And the question is around images for Amazon Associates, and basically this was a question in the Facebook group. So someone read stuff in other forums and Facebook groups and saw that Amazon was banning people for using images that they downloaded and served on their own site, hosted on their own domain. And technically that is against the rules. You're not supposed to download the images from Amazon and then host them that way. You're supposed to use their API and pull the images through like the SiteStripe tool, and you're supposed to pull it from other tools that allow, like plugins like Easy Azon, that allow you to put the image up using the API. So you're pulling the image that Amazon is allowing you to use, and you're not supposed to like download them and then resize them and then post them on your site. You're not supposed to do it. It's against the terms of service. And the thing is, I've never actually heard anyone be banned specifically for that. Usually there's a there's several other like infractions that they're violating, right? So it's usually not an image thing. It's usually like several things. Now, I will say, I would mention that you like probably shouldn't get any advice from Facebook groups. So let that sink in. There's just a bunch of people talking about things. Maybe they read a lot of information, but they actually haven't done stuff. So I think you run into that a lot in like Facebook groups and forums. There's probably like a kernel of truth, some things in there that are like reputable. And if you get information from the right source, that's great. But there's just a lot of people that are talking that don't know what they're talking about. If you want to be 100% safe, don't download the images. Just use the Google or the Amazon like API and use the site stripe tool. That's what I do the majority of the time, and that is okay. So just want to mention that. Don't download the images. Don't do that stuff. And I do see Graham Cook mentions that his account was rejected for not using the API images correctly, and they are getting more strict is what Graham is saying. So that is actually the first like person that I've heard firsthand that said their account was rejected. So Graham, what happened? Were you able to correct it and then reapply and they accepted you, or what was the situation? So anyway, overall, don't download the images, don't put them on your site, use the API. That's the right way to do it. If people are going to say, oh, I want to have better images, I want my site to look different, I'm sorry, like you have to follow the rules, or you may get rejected like Graham mentioned, or you may have just general issues later on. Now the thing I would say, it's the same deal with themes. I talked about it earlier this week. The theme doesn't matter that much. Also, your images don't matter that much. Like if your content is good, you're getting people on your site, the small images that Amazon gives you through their site stripe tool, totally fine. Like those are going to work fine. You're not going to have like that alone is not going to be the reason why your site is succeeding or failing. So it's really about everything all together. And if your images aren't as big or there's not as much variety as you would hope, well, it's not going to be the reason why your site's failing. So, all right. Garab asks, do you siphon traffic from Tumblr and Pinterest? If so, can you take a session? I don't do that, and I don't know what you mean by siphon traffic, and I'm not sure what you mean about take a session. But anyway, I don't do that. I usually get traffic from organic search via Google. And Graham mentions he corrected it using a plugin, and you've reapplied. The site is pretty new, so you're still waiting for the sale to get the site reviewed. So basically, Graham was rejected for misuse of the images, which it sounds like they said specifically that was the issue. So he's working on getting reviewed again, re-reviewed. Okay, and I see questions on YouTube, so awesome. We got about 9 minutes, and then I have to jet. So David asks, did you start doing FBA for any of the top sites to replace my affiliate products? No. And then, or is this something that you do not plan on doing? Correct. I don't plan on doing it. I have a pretty low interest in basically like managing the supply chain. So I know there could be like good routes to, source my own product and do all that stuff. It's a whole other skill set, and I have a low interest level in learning it. So that's kind of where it stands. I know when FBA was like really hot, as far as people shifting from Amazon affiliate stuff over to FBA, and people were selling those $5,000 courses. A lot of my friends got into it, and almost all of them, all except for one that I know of, ended up stopping the whole project. So they started sourcing stuff, and like conceptually it was easy, but the competition got higher because everyone was like learning about how much money they could make from it. So there was more and more competition, and the people that were a little bit ahead also had like, high level of cash flow. So they were able to, run ads like more. They were able to lower prices, and like the competition level got high. And it's a capital intensive thing where you have to like keep reinvesting, and it's a little more complicated as far as like sourcing the products, or it's different, right? So I think the difficulty level of FBA versus an Amazon affiliate site, they may be pretty close. It's like a different set of skills and a different, basically, trouble points. Like you're going to have issues in certain areas for each of them. And I don't think either one is necessarily better or worse. Amazon or FBA may have sort of like a higher like ceiling for how much you can expand and make. And I believe there's also like a corresponding level of risk. So I'm happy with Amazon Associates, and I'm sticking with that. And John mentions that I've mentioned 6 months or a year before things really get going, and it seems like an eternity. And yeah, you know what? It seems like a long time when you're starting, but then 6 months or a year like flies by. It goes by really fast. So really, the sooner you could start a site, the better, or the sooner you could add more content, the better. And next question, and good observation, John. I have mentioned that several times. So JC says, when placing an ad for guest or ghostwriting, content writing on Upwork for 2 articles or in the field for the budget, I say a fixed fee of $14, where most people know that it's $14 per article. Or should you state in the description it is per article? You need to say it's $28, right? So if you're buying 2 articles for $14 a piece, then it's a fixed bid, a fixed project of $28. And yeah, so that's the answer to that. Asik, nice for you to join. Awesome. And Asik says, can you tell me about dating affiliate? Nope, I only do Amazon Associate stuff. So unsure about that. No clue. And David says, yeah, 6 months flies by so fast. It really does. And I mean, before you know it, I mean, that's one of the reasons why like this summer I got back on board with like adding a bunch more content to my site, because it was around this time last year that I, published a whole lot of content, really paid off. I mean, it took a little while to ramp up, but really paid off. And I want to, do that again, hopefully to recover some of the revenue that I lost with the Amazon like commission rate structure change. So, all right, we got 5 minutes left. And Graham says, do I think it's initially more important to pump out a large quantity of articles or focus on fewer, higher quality articles? Really neither. I think pumping out a large quantity of articles early is like dumb. I think that's a bad move. It's a good way to get burned out and quit before you start making money. So a lot of people will tell you, in fact, if you go and listen to like the Niche Pursuits podcast, the series that they did, and I think it was like it was starting in like 2016. So it was their Niche Site Project 3. Actually, there's a ton of episodes, so don't waste your time in listening to them. But there were definitely points where I was like, well, that's really bad advice. Like, it's really hard for someone to publish like 40 or 50 articles right off the bat. And, if you don't have a few $1,000s to spend on content, then you're going to spend a few months writing all those articles. So it's really hard to do. So I think it's really bad advice to try and publish a lot of stuff. In my course, 5-Figure Niche Site, launches next week if you're interested. It launches next week, and there's a small enrollment period, but in the course it's based on like a sprint idea. So this is a project management thing from like Agile project management, and basically you should publish about 10 articles off the bat. Should they be really high quality articles? They should be pretty good. They don't have to be like crazy long or like super expensive or like the best articles that you can do. I mean, they need to be good. They don't need to be perfect, and you're much better off publishing 10 articles and then going and starting your link building right after that. You don't need, more than 10 articles to go and start networking within your niche. When I started Niche Site Project, for example, I had about 3 articles, and I was networking with other people in internet marketing, which is probably a lot more competitive than most other people's niches in general. So I was networking with people in internet marketing. I got some of them to post on my site. I posted on their sites and launched my blog with like 3 posts. And I also launched a product like a month later. So, I mean, you're only limited by like yourself as far as like what you're comfortable in doing. And 10 articles is a good way to go. So anyway, the answer, Graham, is to don't publish too much. It'll slow you down and it'll keep you from making money as quickly as possible. It's really important when you're starting your site to like get revenue in quick so that you see that it works, and you'll see that you can get traffic to your site, you can get guest posts without having a ton of content. It doesn't have to be the best stuff in the world. So Graham is asking about 5-figure niche site and says it sounds awesome. It is awesome. It's super awesome. You'll love it. And the course cost, like I'll send, or if you're on the email list, Graham, like you'll get an email with information on Monday. It's definitely a premium course. It's a big investment, and I do that for a few reasons. One is to get like a high level of commitment from people that join. So people that, if I gave the information for free, people wouldn't take action. And that's just a fact. And then the higher, to a point, but like the higher you charge for something, like the more commitment level you get with the students. And I've seen that like across the board. People take action if they're really investing because they take it seriously, right? So I mentioned before, I bought, an expensive course. I just enrolled in a fairly expensive course for playing guitar. I mean, I could watch like hundreds of YouTube videos for free, but I'm, trying to really invest in my, guitar playing skills. So anyway, Graham, I actually have to go to a coaching call now, so I have to end the session here. But if you're on the email list, you'll definitely be able to get more information, and I'll post it in the Facebook group. So I'm going to answer one more question here. I see one from Mark, just because Mark's always on. He's a good dude. So what's a good rate to pay for 1,000-word articles? About $14 is like a fair rate for a new Upwork freelancer. Like $14 is fair for them. You should get some decent quality back. So, all right, I have to jet. I have to do a coaching thing, and we will talk again soon. Really appreciate everyone hopping on today. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you later.